Um, so we're going to talk about the quad and what is coming there, which includes Clover by 4-H enhancements, and also some of the educational tools and resources that include Discover boxes and STEM kits and how they all play together. So we're going to talk about the quad, where it came from, all of that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a visual walkthrough on what is coming and why we're so excited about it as well.
Excuse
First,
me. I
yeah.
can we do you mind sharing with us a little bit about who you are? I didn't
Oh,
get a
yeah.
bio, so I wasn't able to introduce
Sorry.
you, but
Yeah.
please.
That's okay. I'm Estella McColm, Vice President of Educator Product Innovation at National 4-H Council. So I oversee the e-commerce team, Shop 4-H, is what some of you may know that as well as the team that does PYD Academy, the adult education and training, um, and Clover by 4-H, so the youth-facing digital learning opportunities, and then also just some marketing partnership deliverables across the nation. So I do a lot of these sorts of presentations, just engaging with you all and learning where your challenges are and how we can make sure that our solutions are the best fit for you as well. So sorry, I missed that introduction. Um, it looks like just from the chat, you guys are from across the country as well, not just our East Coasters. So the enhancements and the features and functionality and all of the content I'm going to talk to you about today was informed by extension across the country. And some of the colleagues that you may know, like uh, Jenny and Casey Mole, have also been part of some of these committees and collaborations where we've reviewed and come up with development plans. So within the quad is 4 different spaces. The top 2 spaces are more public facing for a wider audience, including parents and youth. So the academy is all adults, whether they're volunteers, parents, etc. It's the learning and training opportunities, recorded webinars, quick tutorials that are aimed to help an adult understand how to use tools and resources, best practices in youth development, all of that sort of thing to improve the quality of their youth engagement. And then Clover by 4-H is our direct to youth learning and digital environment. The spaces below that is intended for our 4-H professionals, and we've expanded that to not just our formal 4-H professionals, but our military partners will have access to these spaces as well. The resource hub is downloadable toolkits, resources, guides, uh, in some cases like packaged curriculum that's freely available. And then the community forum is discussion boards allowing you to easily communicate across the nation for collaboration, developing new resources, and supporting each other. So Clover by 4-H is intended to help with teen retention, teen growth, and it feeds into teen recognition programming, allowing us to see nationally where teens are really rising up, allowing us to recognize them and help them prepare for what is next. One of the things we're really excited about, and maybe in the chat we can do a really quick poll of like, how many of you have used Clover or seen Clover already? So you know what today's environment looks like. And I need to figure out how to see the chat.
It looks like this is new for several attendees, so we're excited
Okay.
to hear from you.
Well,
Yeah.
great. Well, I will then do a good job of trying to, or I will try to do a good job of explaining to you what I'm showing you that will be new, meaning it's not available yet. It will be available on October 6th when we roll out the new environment versus what's available for you to use now. If you do not have an account, I encourage you to create an account. It is free. It's free for everyone, youth and parents as well. Um, And I can show you at the end of this how to quickly create that account. If you create an account in today's environment, it will be transitioned over for you. So any activity that you've done, like completing an activity, will be ported over to the new environment and saving that in your profile in the new environment. So, Level Up Skills Tracker is intended for youth over 13, and this is only available in the new environment. And this is really intended as like step one of helping our teens to really grow skills to help them be ready for work and life. So, within the skills tracker, there's 5 skill domains, and then you can see under each of those skill domains, there's about 3 to 5 sub skills. So, for example, leadership and teamwork has decision making, mentorship, project management, responsibility, and teamwork, all as sub skills of that. In the skills tracker, youth will be encouraged to um, complete an activity for each one of these skill domains that introduces them to what does that skill mean? What does it look like in real life? And walking them through some scenarios to start to understand um, realistic examples that they can relate to as to how to see this in action. Then they will be presented with a quiz that they have to pass with 80%. And as soon as they pass that with 80%, they will be upgraded to understanding level of that skill. Additional skill levels of practicing all the way through Beyond Ready that you can see in the lower chart um, will be assigned to them by a connected adult. They would, here, let me just advance forward here. In the skills tracker, so you can see this is what it will look like in the new environment. So character and emotional intelligence, it says not started. This is in a testing phase right now, but I wanted to grab some screenshots to be able to show you what to expect. Um, Once that's completed, it would say understanding. If you clicked on find courses, it would show you some courses that they could do to go introduce themselves to that skill, take the course to level up. In addition to that, the skills tracker submission is where they capture what they're doing in their life, whether it's a project, it's an after school program they're participating in, a contest, a public speaking opportunity. They would submit an activity to a connected adult in the platform describing what they did, connecting it to each of the skills, and there will be hints for them of like, hey, if you're trying to show that you're practicing, this is some examples of what you might share. And then they submit that activity. It gets sent in the platform to the connected adult along with the information. And then the adult would be able to have a framework to say, hey, if these sorts of things show up, that's what demonstrating looks like, or that's what Beyond Ready looks like, depending on what level and how they're responding, as well as some language to help coach them on continued growth. So at Go Live, all of that will be available, including the ability for youth to submit for national awards and applications of Lead to Change and Youth in Action. Um, and then what we're also working on that should be available 6 to 9 months later is some career discovery and exploration tools that will be added into that level up environment. So really excited about that. I'm going to show you visually what this will look like. So in the new environment, when you go to 4h.org and you go to log in, you would see a screen that looks just like this, that's showing you that all of those things are in this same login, single sign-on, one place to access them all. If you are a youth under 13, you would immediately be uh, pushed into the Clover environment. You would not have access to those other things. And on the dashboard navigation in the new environment looks very similar to what they have now. If you start on the left where it says Clover by 4-H, and then there's the main menu options of dashboard and courses. What is new here is a calendar and level up. This one does have a place for them to access notifications, like they completed a badge or they completed a course or one of their skills tracker assessments came back. Anything that would prompt a notification would be there. The youth can look at them and review. The waffle, similar to if you guys are familiar with Google Tools, if you click on that waffle, it shows you all of the spaces that your profile has permissions to. Because this was logged in as a youth, when I took that screenshot, just to keep it consistent, they can only see Clover and then back to 4-H.org or Shop 4-H. If this was an adult account, you would see all four of the options there. If you click on the icon logo, you can add an avatar, access bookmarks, update preferences or interests, which will then inform their experience and suggested activities. So in interests, a youth could say, hey, I'm really interested in baking and cooking and robotics. And then those are the types of activities that would be recommended for them. They can still do anything in the platform, but it just helps to curate personalization. So just to scale back a little bit, on the far left with that white background, that's what it will look like for our youth that are under 13 that do not have access to Level Up. Youth under 13 will not have an email address attached to their account. Youth over 13 will have to have an email address attached to their account in order to have access to Level Up, simply because that's the way that the technology works. We don't track emails on youth under 13 just for child protection and safety issues, but we just don't even let them enter it. So once they turn 13, they can add their email address. They would be prompted to enter it in the platform in order to gain that access once they reach that age. And then they would have access to all of the Level Up functionality. Their background then turns green just for a visual difference of like, okay, this one is a youth under 13, this one is a youth over 13, and it feels a little bit older and more personal towards them and their experience. The activities in the new environment function fairly similarly to today. At the top of the courses tab, there's a place to filter by topic. You can filter by grade or duration of like, I'm looking for a 30-minute activity on college readiness, right? You can do those filters and see what pops up. Where we've put some intentional thought and planning into this as we've worked with 4-H educators across the country is making sure that the content on Clover complements and supplements in-person learning experiences. So for example, if you are looking at personal finance, that's how on the left I've curated that view. One of the activities is your money personality. And so you could assign this to your youth. You could do this with them as a group. And then in Shop 4-H, there's also a Discover box that builds upon this with in-person activities, helping youth understand basic money principles, budgeting, tracking. So there's lots of different activity kits on Shop 4-H. There's like the Food for Thought STEM Challenge, the Power Protector STEM Challenge. In these guidebooks, there's QR codes that take you to or describe the name of the activity that exists within Clover to allow youth to go deeper on those topics. So these are just some fun examples of how you compare in-person learning and some of those ready-to-go activity kits, and then what's available online. When you have a classroom full of youth in an after-school setting that are all interested in various different things, or they may be interested in something that you don't feel like you're like the expert in, Clover is intended to be that tool to help you as a resource to reach more of those youth, to fill in with high quality content all of the content in Clover was designed by 4-H professionals. It goes through a peer review process to ensure that it meets high quality standards, not just on what the content is, but how it's being delivered. Um, so this is where we sort of pull those together. Whenever we do an activity kit and push that out through Shop 4-H, there's a connection back to Clover to help support you taking that deeper or adding on to it for a bigger experience. One of the new things in Clover is also going to be a youth calendar, and this came by heavy request of our youth saying, hey, we really want to know what's happening nationally out there and where the opportunities might exist for us. So we're in the process of building that out, making it available for them. I see the comment about the cost for the activity kits. They really can vary anywhere depending on whether it's a single kit or large kit for a whole group and how you choose to implement them. We have kits as low as like $6-ish all the way up to 25 or 30. And it just depends on the size, the quantity of activities that are in it, and how many components, so you can do it with multiple kids or not. We've tried to make a lot of these Discover boxes reusable. So it might have enough for 4 to 6 kids to do it at once, but you can do it multiple times with 4 to 6 kids at a time, if that makes sense. Or you can get multiple boxes to be able to do more at one time. We've also done some work to make sure that where possible, there's printables that you can print off to expand the size of the kit by being able to print some more of those printables and expanding it that way, giving you a little bit more control. Um, so sometimes there is partnerships or donors that end up allowing us to supply free kits. I'm not aware of one right now. I do, however, believe that the Air Force, I don't know if they're included in this call, but they're working with Shop 4-H team on some custom kits that have been emailed out. Some of you may have received that email requesting how many, and the themes were STEM or healthy living, I believe. And so we do partners with military programs, the Air Force programs all of the time to customize the materials you're looking for based on the size, the content areas, and the use case, like what is the age group that you're looking for. So we had just put together 2 different kits for 3 different age groups, one STEM, one of that. And I can find out if that's something that we can extend and make available to you all. I'm not sure who all was funding it, but they are then placing the order and we're sending it out on their behalf. So it's being paid for out of a national budget, I believe, from the Air Force, then supplied to. I don't know if that helps. Yes, there you go, Tara. Thank you. Um, okay. In the quad, if you're logged in as an adult and you're in the academy, which is the adult learning space, you would see similar navigation. So dashboard, courses, and calendar. These courses are specific to adults. It's not the same courses as Clover. As an adult, you can go into Clover and you can do the same activities that you're encouraging the youth to do or doing alongside the youth. But these particular courses that you would see in this section is things that are aimed at help, like there'll be anywhere from 5 minutes to maybe an hour, like tutorials, helpful guides, new tool kit previews, things like that. And then again, if you click the waffle as an adult, you would see which spaces within the quad you can navigate between that you have access to. So in the Academy, the landing page looks a little bit similar. It's a very light pale green background with an announcement bar at the top. Immediately below that, it will show upcoming content. So webinars that are scheduled to happen on a specific day that are coming up. so that you can register in advance, get those on your calendar and plan the time. And then what's below that would be things that are available on demand that you can watch or participate in at any time. When you click into one of these options that's made available, it will give you an overview of like who was the instructor or the presenter, what content would you expect to be, or the learning objectives in this particular engagement, as well as the opportunity to ask questions and have a discussion around this particular content. So a place to share ideas or ask questions. In the resource hub, think more of like news at the top. So, what are the new opportunities coming up, deadlines that are coming up, awareness, new curriculum, anything that is new and timely will be at that top. Below that, on the far left, you would see a resource spotlight. So whatever the newest, most important documents that have been uploaded here, to newest toolkits would be in that spot. Below that, you can click on one of the categories, or you can just go to view all resources, which is the final button at the very bottom of that far left screen. And in there, it again, you'll see the categories at the top to filter. You can switch between two views, and this is a huge improvement. If any of you have gone onto 4h.org to look for resources today, you can see a brief name and you have to download it to see what it is. So here you'll be able to see a visual description, like a visual picture of that document. You can switch to list view and you can see the name of the document, what type of document it is, a brief description. And then when you click on one, it gives you a preview and some more information before you actually have to download it. So you can make sure that it is what you want before. You can also bookmark them. And then up in your profile, if you're in the resource hub again and you're looking for that same toolkit that you used before to share with a colleague, or you printed it off but didn't save it locally, you can click on here, click on your bookmarks, and it'll show you all of the things that you've bookmarked so you don't have to go hunt and figure out where they are. So this is the resource hub. On the category pages. There will be a little bit more information about what to expect of everything that is in that category. If there is presentations or tutorials that exist in the academy on how to use some of these resources, how to use some of the new curriculum, like there is, for example, in one of the categories, it's youth development. There's a tech change makers, teens as teachers program. If there's a tutorial on how to do that or a webinar of some other 4-H professionals talking about how they've used that resource, it would be linked here and you could click over and watch that and get some ideas to help you get started. And the last spot is our community forum. And this is still being set up, but this is where we can create custom groups for you all to engage in, as well as just open discussion. So if you wanted your own separate military program professionals grouping, we can close that off and make it by invitation only to your audience, and you guys can engage in there, share ideas, and have collaboration conversations in that space. But that's what it's intended to do, is just one more space for while you're already logged in to collaborate. We've been working on this for about 1.5 years. We are in the final stages. Next week, we have in-person user testing internally. The week after that, we are working with several different groups for external testing with some of our 4-H professionals, some live youth, just to make sure that we are really confident and ready to go live on October 6th. So that's what is coming.